Hello, once again. Welcome back to Nerve Check. I am here with the face and our buddy Nathaniel, who unfortunately is part of one of the Murder Garage guys. We are here to talk to you once again about something called Halflings. Apparently, that's an army. It's a small army, but we're going to take a look at it anyway. So, how the pair of you doing tonight anyway? How you doing, John?
I'm good. I'm ready to talk about things that I have 3 games experience with, so I am ready.
Well, you are possibly the best player in Canada, so we'll take whatever you got. But whatever. And Nathaniel's actually played a few tournaments with this, and is probably our most experienced of all of us playing Halflings, and actually plays them extremely well. How you doing there, buddy? Well, that went well.
Yeah, I've played them quite a bit, probably the most of anybody in our area, so fun to talk about them.
Sweet. Let's get into it.
Let's keep going. All right, first thing we got to talk about is their army special rule, which apparently is not spell ward, even though that it seems to be the one thing that the army does better than anybody else. This is actually a lot better of an army special rule than you would expect. It actually takes care of a lot of the problems that some people might come across. Anything hitting on 5s is a hell of a lot better than actually just being able to be lightning bolted to death. The actual army special rule is relentless, I believe, which is, if my memory, which I'm reading, is once per game when attacking a unit in melee that currently has 1 or a point of damage, the unit may reroll up to 3 dice to fail to hit. Not a bad little special rule, especially for an army that really wants to get stuck in and start stabbing things. So
cool.
You'd be amazed how often I want to use it on a fresh unit, though.
Well, it's
only on wounded units?
It is only on a unit that has at least 1 damage point on them. So shooting ahead of time might be something to look at for this army.
I've learned something new about Halflings.
Well, that's the whole point of this, right? Well, let's start in with the first unit, and we start with Braves. Braves here, they're your typical sword and board type guys. They have next to no defense, but they are cheap, like Legions at 190 points, but they only come with spell ward themselves. They can get relentless, which doesn't seem to change for the size of the unit that they take, with 5 points for it. That's pretty bloody good for regardless of what the size of the unit is. That's not so bad. Obviously these things are just kind of, if you're going with an infantry style list, these are the things that you would start with. Nathan, you used to run like 2 or 3 of these legions at one point. Is that correct? We may have lost him again.
No, he's just thinking about his answer.
Deep in thought at this point in time.
Yeah. 3 legions of these guys all together.
Yeah, see, he was just thinking.
We're going to try it and press on with this thing. All right, we'll go down to Halfling rifles. The shooters, they hit on 5s, they have steady aim, and they are Pierce 1, but only 18 inches on the shot. So we're looking at like 23 inches possible. So that's not even as good as some of the. Am I right in thinking it's not as good as the abyssals with the 18-inch range, but they move 5 or 6. I think they also move like.
I think they move 5, and they're very similar. I think they're also piercing 1 in abyssals, but they're not spell ward.
Yeah, well, these things.
The spell ward is nice.
Yeah. The spell ward, ravenous, and tinkerer. Though these things will come up later on, of course. Again, relentless on a horde for 5 points, but would you ever really use it for that? I'm guessing no.
Relentless is only melee, right?
Relentless is melee, yeah.
I probably wouldn't then, but that's just me.
Yeah.
All right, Nathaniel, why don't you bring us through the next unit there? Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna.
No, slow down, Ben. Let him catch up.
Poachers now.
Yes, we're on poachers now. He's lagged out again.
So poachers are your Pathfinder Scout, stealthy hide and terrain unit. And again, shooting unit stats: 10 attacks on the troop, 12 on the regiment. Low defense, bows at 24 inches. The thing is, they don't have steady aim, so you're going to be hitting on 5s most of the time, if not worse. Because if you're
and they gave them vicious melee.
I never really used them much.
Yeah, vicious melee is just weird, isn't it?
It's like they're kind of a copy of the Dwarf Rangers, but not as good.
Yeah. They're not a Pierce 1 and no Pathfinder. Oh, they do have Pathfinder. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have Pathfinder, but yeah, the no steady aim and the vicious melee is a strange combination. But hey, they are a shooting unit. 24 inches is nice, but it's not piercing, and you're hitting on 5s most of the time, like Nathaniel said. So they're like a shitty copy of Glade Stalkers.
Yeah. The starting at 4s is all right. However, we will go further on. Let's get into spear spikes. These are obviously just your regular phalanx guys. Again, with the keywords of ravenous. But again, relentless on either a regimented or horde. Still at 5 points. This is something you might want to take the ravenous on. Like you're going to get these into combat. You're going to have them. Yeah, so that's
and
not
they're cheap.
Yeah,
those are cheap.
Yeah,
150 points for a phalanx horde is cheap, and spell ward that's cheap.
Well,
but again, you're doing like 2 wounds on your attack.
Oh, they're melee 5. I didn't see that. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
No, you'll get more than that. My shitty militia get more than that, so your spear spikes will too, probably.
Yeah,
but then the stalwarts are next, and they are similar but better.
Yep,
but expensive, more expensive.
They are. These are probably the backbone, I would say. What about you there, Nathan? This is the backbone.
If you want to go with an infantry build.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to go heavy infantry and walk up the board, these are your good troops, hitting on 4s.
There you go. According to this, you can make, is it just one unit, the Hordes of Hindenburg, which they gain elite, which is definitely something to think about for this sort of thing.
And an inspiring horde.
I did not realize that was inspiring as well.
For 20 points. That's a good time.
That's definitely a good time. Jesus. You can exchange the shields for 2-handed weapons, giving them defense 4 and crush 1.
You can also just enchant them.
Yeah, you could also just
now spell word you've got, so it's harder to enchant your guys.
Oh, that's true, because it does work on both yours and their stuff.
Fair enough.
So
I tried it once, and then I went, "Oh man, 5s."
Yeah, it's not exactly what you would want. Some of the better units that I actually like are these forest trolls. I think these are some of the better trolls in the game. They come in regiments or hordes. Crush 2, Pathfinder, regen 5+ like a horde would normally be, but not the normal troll distance on the nerf. Like this is only 2 points as what trolls are normally 3s.
And they're large infantry instead of monstrous infantry, which some of the other trolls are.
Snow trolls are bigger,
yeah. Have you played any of these trolls here, Nathan? Or
I've tried them a little bit because they are your standard large infantry horde kind of stats, which I've used in a lot of my different armies. Like put the earth elementals in the dwarves, put the ice elementals in Northern Alliance. I like them, but I like the ones that shoot better.
Well, why don't we talk about those instead? The only real difference that I can see, it's crush 1 instead of crush 2, and they come with the gunner on top, which is 18 inches, speed 6 with pierce 1. You were saying that you like these a lot better. I mean, 18 shots, on fours without steady aim, but still, I mean, that's not terrible. Pathfinder definitely will help that out a little bit.
And because they have the
Okay.
tinker keyword, the engineer can use the auras. So you can give them wild charge or radiance of life if you've got the engineer close by.
Huh.
Yeah. Again, possible like the entire army comes with a possibility of relentless at only 5 points, which is an absolute bargain if you ask me. I don't think you'd put it on every unit, but a unit like this with the gunning trolls might be something you may actually want to think about. We'll go back one here to the EJ's Grenadiers. I think this is one of the things that everybody absolutely loves. It's one of the things that you would definitely take Relentless on, if you ask me. I mean, they only come in a regiment. They are speed 10. They do fly. They do come with brutal D3 just to be annoying little pricks on top of all of that. And again, the Tinkerer keyword. So when we get into those things, this will be something that this will all go up against with it. These things, I've had them ruin my day more than once. I mean, it's them and the aeronauts, but let's just talk about the Grenadiers for the moment. John, what do you think of these damn things? I mean, you're our flying expert at this point.
I mean, yes, they do fly. They are not the. I don't think they're the better flying unit in Halflings. I think there's a better one. Brutal D3 is. It's fun, but it's a little bit silly. It's only 9 attacks with no crushing, no damage, like actual way to crack armor, and it's melee 4 with no pathfinder, no nothing. So most of the time, smart players are going to make you hindered, or you're going to fight phalanx, and your hits are going to be minimal. You could maybe get them around to flanks because they are nimble, so they're a little more mobile. I just would rather spend the points on a different flying unit in this list.
Well, since you have brought up said different flying unit, why don't you start in with the aeronauts themselves there?
They are significantly more expensive, but they have bombing run, which always hits on a 4 no matter what, so you don't take penalties for bad charges, and it's blast D3, crushing 2, and pathfinder. So only speed 7, but still flying, so you can get places you're not supposed to be. Not nimble, but that's okay. You just got to line up your bombing run. I think they're great. I used them in the one tournament, and I thought they were hilarious, even just to be scary.
Yeah. And Nathaniel, what do you think of these aeronaut
And they're
things?
always hit on
Terrible,
4s.
right? Yeah, but they're terrible, right? You wouldn't use them. They're terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's by far the best unit in the army. They always hit on 4s, so you don't care about ensnare or being hindered or anything like that. The crush strength 2, the blast D3, they're super swingy. And I mean, this, you always want to put that blade of slashing on them to reroll that one miss, because that could turn into 3 more hits.
That's a great pro tip.
Yeah. Actually, I was wrong. This is the one unit that has come up so far that does not get relentless, which is kind of weird. But again, Tinkerer.
Because they're already pretty silly. They don't really need other stuff.
I really, really, really do hate the bombing run and the fact that it does not get hit by ensnare for some reason.
That's just because you only play ensnare. So one day you'll play a real army and become a real boy.
I have tried playing real armies and don't like it, unless they're elves, in which case they're cool. Where are we going back up to here? We passed through a couple of things. Let's get on to Juggers. Well, now, these are what I would call a backbone of an army. So Juggers are these are the cavalry that can actually hurt. It's only Thunder 2 with these things. I mean, these are your standard horde and regiment kind of attacks. But with Spell Ward, Thunderous, and Ravenous, these things can hurt. And again, relentless.
And they're nimble.
And they're nimble. And possibly Strider for some reason, which is the big bloody "are you kidding me" part of the army. Yeah, there's nothing worse than just sitting there and going, haha, you've got 2 walls and 3 forests to come through me. There's no way in hell you would ever. And then they're sitting there with the guy in the back, and you're like, oh, shit. If you ever see these things on the table, be scared. Be very scared. How many units were you running with these things, Nathaniel, at Dead of Winter last year?
Yeah, 2 regiments of these guys.
Have you
And I
ever
pulled
tried a
off some
horde?
nimble shenanigans, which was nice.
Have you ever tried them in a horde?
Not of these guys. I've tried the horde of the other ones.
Hmm.
Yeah, I tried the wild lancers in a horde, but not these guys. Just in case they get hung up too much.
So
It's a huge
why
investment.
the wild lancers then instead of the juggers? Is there a reason between the two?
It was just for points cost, really.
All right.
The other ones are
Okay.
cheap. And you can get a whole bunch of units in that aura of the captain to get Strider.
You definitely can. The big difference, I guess, is Thunder 1 as opposed to Thunder 2. Both come with the Iron Resolve, which is great for anybody using these damn things because they will take a hit, but they will stick around for at least a turn or two. Well, let's move down to the Wild Runners. Again, still Iron Resolve, which is kind of nice. It comes with short bows with 18-inch range. These are your nimble cab that run around and shoot things. Only they can switch the short bows for black powder for like 10 or 15 points. Is there a reason why you wouldn't do the black powder? I mean, 10, 15 points is a lot, but you're picking up what here, Pierce 1 and steady aim, as opposed to just the 18-inch without the piercing. So
if you've got spare points, yeah, I would change it. But if not, sometimes you don't have points for it.
Yeah, same thing there, Nathan.
Yeah, I built both in the models. Yeah, I built both in the models so that I've got the option, but usually you take the rifles.
No, they are not Tinkerer, thank God. Well, let's move on down here to their one of their 2 war engines. We've got the Howitzer. This is the artillery strike, 48 inches, D3, +1, indirect, Pierce 3, ignores obscured. I really think they need to get rid of these things, but with reload. So these are the mortars, let's call them, for lack of a better term. In this thing, this does come with Tinkerer. These do hit on 5s. There are 2 attacks. This is just your standard mortars. Piercing 3 is nice, but 90 points. I don't know. I don't know if I'd take these even in the standard Cav army, which I think this army actually plays better into at this point. I mean, we look at that compared to the volley gun, which is just like a volley gun in Kingdoms of Men, which we will, of course, be looking at some point in time. 24-inch range, pierce 2, but 12 shots. Like, if you guys had your choice on these two, what are your choices here? Why don't we start with you there, John?
Neither. I don't really take war machines though. Yeah. I like fast armies, and I find they get outpaced too quickly, and then they're just like hanging out, and I forget about them and forget to move them. And yeah, if I had to pick, I'd take the volley gun.
What about you there, Nathaniel? Is there one of these that you lean towards instead of the other?
I agree with John. I pretty much don't take either of them, but the way I roll dice, I'd take the volley gun.
Is it more because of the style of army, or is it more because I think they kind of put these in as, well, we have to give them something, it kind of seems like.
Yeah, and it's if you really want to play a gun line, like if you got a couple of hordes of rifles and a couple of war machines and you're going heavy on shooting, maybe you'll run these, but I don't think it's a great build.
I don't think the Halflings have enough range to bother with a heavy shooting build. If you were to try to convert like Greg Person's kind of mixed army dwarf list into a Halfling list, then yeah, you could maybe spice it up with that. But the 18-inch rifles just don't compete very well unless you're just using them as cheap objective holders or something like that for late game shooting.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on here to the Harvester. Which is an odd little model. I mean, it's basically a chariot, but it's not a chariot. Big shield in the front, which is nice. That gives it a defense of 6. This is a crush 1, thunderous 1, D6 plus 8 unit strength 1 little troll driven. Let's call it a lawnmower more than anything else. I mean, I would be happier if this thing was Crush 2 as opposed to the
Dude,
Thunders.
it's a mincer.
Yeah, it's just, but
It's a goblin mincer. You can't make those Crush 2, though that'd be way too strong.
but I want to play this army, and I would really like to use that instead
No,
of.
you can still. It's still really good because most of the time you put it in between infantry so that it can't be charged, and then you get to charge stuff, generally in the flank.
I guess the only thing that really we have to worry about with anything that's a chariot is the fact that chariots do tend to get flank charged and flank charged hard. Nathaniel, have you given this thing a run out yet?
Yeah, I've run it a couple times. Again, yeah, you're just really worried about protecting the flanks because once you lose that big shield, it's toast. It's only defense 4. You get slaughtered. But as a combo charge with something else, like I've run it close to the Iron Beast sometimes, and they just demolished whatever they hit. Your only problem then is refacing after you kill something.
Yes, it can be hard to swing that backside around.
Yeah, I've had that problem.
You got trouble swinging your backside around? I bet you do.
And my front side with the size of my ego. Since you mentioned the Iron Beast, we're going to start talking about that now. I actually think this is a great little thing for them, especially the fact it's a Titan. Now, it's basically just like Gallic Fury, only better used because it's on a Titan base. With Crush 2, Inspiring, Strider, all good. It's got the the Halfling gun on the top, which is still 18 inches. 5 attacks. There we are. Pierce 1 with steady aim. This can be upgraded to Pride of the Shires, giving it headstrong. I don't really see the upgrade as something that you would absolutely need. What about you there, Nathan? You've actually tried this thing and said that you've 10 attacks plus D6. It's not great, but that's nothing to slouch at. So
it's great. It's your hard hitter, right? It's Crush 2. It's Def 6. It's got a high nerve. It's going to stick around, and I like taking 2 or 3 of them all together.
Same.
You're a bad man, and you're absolutely right to take him in that sort of contest.
Same.
I kind of run them together. It's like get through all of this, like 16, 18 defense 6, while I'm hitting you with 12 or 15 attacks from each one.
You did actually take 3, and was it March of Death the year like last year? Yeah, I remember like really hoping I didn't run up against you, and I didn't, thank God, because 3 of those things I don't think I could take them.
Because you just line them up and shove them into people, and you just let them suffer. That's great.
And the fact, again, it's not a chariot.
They've got both of the keywords, Ravenous and Tinker, so you can hit them with all kinds of auras too if you want to upgrade them.
Well, we're about to get into these auras. We'll start with the Engineer. Here is, let's see, he comes with a Halfling Combine, which is 18 inches, 4 attacks at Pierce 1. That's fantastic. He has the keyword Tinkerer himself. He's got the Aura Wild Charge for Tinkerer, which that makes that bloody Iron Beast like nasty. He can take Radiance of Life for Tinkerer. Can swap the long rifle and gain a 24-inch attack with Pierce 2. And Gadgets and Gizmos. I'm sorry, what is Gadgets and Gizmos? I might have to load that.
It's hilarious.
You can name one of the other infantry units and give them the Tinker keyword.
Oh
yeah, like your thing of the like foot guard guys. What are they called?
The stalwarts.
Yeah, the stalwarts.
Oh, yeah. That would be fantastic. And is any one? Jesus.
Yeah, just one infantry unit. So not trolls, but one infantry unit can have that happen to them.
Thank God it's not cavalry.
Right?
Well, the Wild Charge, the Radiance of Life. My God, this is all good stuff. Like, you would almost want to take one of these for sure. Let's go on to the Muster Captain. I believe he was caught in the conservatory with the lead pipe at some point in time.
Sounds about right.
Nobody? All right.
We got it. We got it. We're just ignoring your clue reference. Yeah.
All right, the captain himself, of course, he comes crush one. He's mighty. He's very inspiring, which is definitely an addition onto that. You can take him on an I'm going to say it, on an Alvarez, a flying bastard that gives him
There you go.
height 3, and he's basically on a Pegasus. I'm taking it here. He can be the sure-footed,
This one's just on the cav one.
Yeah, he just gets to
This is
ride a
not the
dog.
flying one. He's just cav.
Yeah.
All right.
And they ride dogs because they're small. So
right. Even though the dogs are just as big as most of the cavalry in the game.
Yes, they are big dogs. Yeah.
They're big dogs. This is the guy that gives sure-footed, which is the Aura Strider to Ravenous only. This is if you're taking cavalry, this is the thing to take. As Nathan was saying, Nathaniel here was saying about taking these things on that. I think that you two played that in that dead of winter, and that caught you out big time, didn't it, there, John?
Yeah, because I'm very well known to not read rules. So he's like, and now I'm going to give them all Strider. I'm like, I see my plan is for nothing. Excellent. So this wall doesn't matter? Correct. Excellent. Let's see some dead bodies. Let's get it. Yeah.
My last game in Masters, it was the same thing, and I was shuddering over the fact that this captain was sitting at the back of these 3 units of I think they were juggernauts, and I just couldn't stop them. There was nothing I could put in front of them to help with any reason. I was trying to get rid of that bastard at the back as much as I can. But Nathaniel, this is the guy that you take every time, all the time, for no other reason than he's just fantastic. Do you always take one of these with the aura? Yeah. Is there any reason not to?
If you're taking any cavalry, any cav, I always take this guy.
Yeah.
Because you can fit so many in that aura if you're tight. So I can deploy him right in the middle, 2 regiments of juggers on one side, and then a regiment of lancers and a horde of lancers on the other side, and they are all covered in the Strider aura. And then you put a saucer behind the captain, and they're all covered by his Ravenous aura. So you can give them wild charge depending on what you roll, or brutal depending on what you roll.
Yep, it's hilarious.
It definitely is that. Why can't I get that? Huh.
The only problem is they're all just thunderous. So if you don't kill what you hit, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, that is, like, I'm surprised the Juggernauts don't actually come with the Crush one, Thunder one, just to make them a little bit different. But I guess that's something. They are cheap enough that you can probably, put a Brew of Strength on one of those. Right, let's go down to the Sergeant here. This is your Crush one, just regular inspiring guy. Again, you can give him a bow. You can give him Scout. You can give him the Standard, which gains elite and melee for infantry only, which is too bad that it is only for elite. This is something that that I'm sure all of your cavalry would love to have.
Oh, Christ, that'd be incredible. Yeah, but
wouldn't it?
Denied. Yeah, because they really want the Halflings to be like an infantry army, and they have better cavalry units than they do infantry units.
Well, yeah, I think this is it's too bad. I mean, you started, Nathaniel, playing. I remember your 2 legions of what are they called again? The Braves went into one of my units of into a title swarm and made them hit on 7s because and so these 2 units did like 2 wounds a turn to my poor little title swarm with Barkskin on them. It's fantastic. I love doing that shit. Yeah, Scout's all right, but this isn't a guy that you really want to see scouting.
It's the one time I've run him is when I was playing like 3 legions of infantry and just sit him behind so they're all in the aura just to give them elite, because you're only hitting on 5s, but I'm like, I'm going to roll 10 1s out of those 30 dice, so
helps smooth out that bell curve a little bit.
Just slightly. Okay. All right, let's go down to one of my favorite things and the reason why I actually want to play this army, and that is the Feast Master. I love this idea. Instead of having spells, this guy can basically, or I'm thinking of the Sorcerer.
Feastmaster is a weird unit where he just kind of does some stuff. He's a duelist, but he's only speed 5, so he's going to get charged and probably killed a lot of times.
He's a giant
spell word. He's got cleavers, like throwing cleavers, but only 4 attacks instead of 5s. He can go on a dog, but I don't know. I think he's outshined by other options in the faction. The Sorcerer is the one you want to talk about.
The Sorcerer is what I was thinking of. This is Chef Boyardee, the Feastmaster is Chef Boyardee if he was a mean bastard. He was my favorite person.
Given what Chef Boyardee does to people's insides, it might be the same person.
All right.
He's a fun little model. He's the one with the 2 big meat cleavers.
Yeah. Well, why don't you read out the Sorcerer there, Nathaniel?
Yeah, so the Sorcerer, here's your main kind of aura buff guy. He's your kind of wizard stats, bad at hitting, 1 attack, 9/11 nerf. But he's got the Gastromancy, which is you roll 3 dice. This is at the end of your movement phase, so it's not a spell. So at the end of your movement phase, you roll 3 dice, and you can choose Life Leech, Wild Charge, Brutal. I think there's one more.
Third one.
No, he's only got 3. Life Leech, Wild Charge.
That's where you're going.
Brutal,
You can give your.
Brutal, yeah.
Is it Brutal?
Well,
and so you want to hit those. I mean, I used to run 2 of these guys behind when I ran an infantry list.
Yeah.
But so you've got, even when I run them on the cav and with the cavalry, you've got Wild Charge. If somebody's sitting outside of your charge range, you hope you roll well and you get there. You can go Brutal if you need the help on the attack. When I used to play the Legions of Braves that were just roadblocks, you can give them Rally. That's it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Rally, or then a Life Leech if you want to get some wounds back. So the Rally is actually most of the time where I need it because most of the nerves pretty low on all the units.
They are.
So you're hoping you roll a 2 or 3 successes. Yeah. So 2 or 3 successes to get them up. Well, Rally maxes at 2, but you really want to get those up.
You want to get that
so that you're
every
not
time. Yeah.
breaking immediately.
Yeah. Well, I actually don't see a reason for using Life Leech at any point in time. Like, it just seems to be a little bit of an outlier there.
Grinder combats when you got the legions sitting there and just chipping away at people and just picking wounds back onto them.
Sure, if you're up against something that's just as crappy in combat, in my opinion. There,
I run militia.
Well, this is true. For now.
Ta-da!
That's what I did with the legions. When I had 3 legions and you run him behind with Rally and you get your legions up to 27, 29, and there's 3 of them sitting on some objectives there, you like chew through almost 90 nerve to get to me.
Yep. But next we've got an interesting model. We've got the Gunnery Sergeant on Troll, which I think is hilarious. He's like an Ogre Sergeant, but with Pathfinder and only an 18-inch gun. That's piercing 1.
It's still piercing 1.
Yeah.
Still relentless.
Crush 1, inspiring, nimble, Pathfinder. Pathfinder is huge. He can just run to objectives late game, and he's still speed 6, and he's got regen 5.
Yep.
I think it's a great model.
Also, we're Tinkerer. So, you can
be buffed. Yep.
Yeah, you can cheekily just kind of turn around and go, well, we'll give you 3 extra inches on that shit. So,
and don't we all love that?
Yes, we do.
So we've got a muster captain on Winged Aralez, which I think is great. It's like a general that I run in Kingdoms of Men. Speed 10. I love flying. Crush 2, Thunder 1, same. Iron Resolve, which is nice. Spell Word, which would be really nice. Only 7 attacks, but not too bad.
No. Yeah, like you said, it's just like a Kings of Men guy. You're going to stick something on this guy, but by himself, he's still fantastic. And under 200 points, like this is...
Excellent distraction piece.
Yeah, it's almost as good as the Beast of Nature, only it inspires as well.
He's at least as good as the Beast of Nature.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here? We have some of the special characters now. I'm going to screw up all of these names.
Let's hear it. Come on. First one.
Fuck off. This is Aaron Caldwalderer, I'm guessing.
Cadwallader?
I don't know. It's not like
Come
I can
on.
speak English. No. Look him up if you're looking at this thing on here. So his special rule is Aura Nimble for infantry only. I'm not overly impressed with this. Crush 1, individual mighty spell ward, very inspiring. Very inspiring is nice. I don't really, not sure on this guy. Like is the nimble necessary? I guess if you're taking a lot of scouts, maybe.
Or a lot of hordes. Like if you're taking
Or-
hordes and legions, sure, nimble might be situationally beneficial, but again, you got to lean into the infantry build of halflings, which I think is the inferior build.
I agree with you on that. I would either go heavy shooting or I would go with.
For those just listening, Nathaniel is nodding along as well that infantry halflings are the worst halflings.
Yes. We're gonna
I
go
think I
down
used him
here.
once to try and give those legions nimble. It never did anything.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to Allie McSweeney, which I think is the only character. Like she was in their formation before. Crush 1, duelist, inspires self, which is just terrible. Master thief and scout, throwing daggers, which is 12-inch pierce 1 daggers. Didn't she used to have? Oh, she's the one that takes away the magic item. I believe.
Yes. Master thief is enemy units within 6 inches of her may not use their magical artifact when attacking. When she is attacking an enemy unit, she can choose to use the artifact held by the unit she's engaged with, excluding one-use magic items.
See, that is a very unique special rule. Did you have a chance of trying this chick out, Nathaniel? Did you give it a pass each time? Oh, you might be catching up with us.
Yeah.
No, I usually gave it a pass because I mean she was in that old formation with the poachers, which I never really took. She's speed 6, right? So if your opponent knows about this, it's hard to get her where you need her to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not just going to throw her away into, like, you're not throwing her into a horde unless you're going into the side of a horde, I guess. And at that point, I guess if you've got that with an Iron Beast and they've got what's the thing that makes everything wound on 4s?
Hammer?
Yeah, if you could take that away from them, that's probably the best idea I can think of, because you'd be able just to kind of like put the Iron Beast in the front and go, screw you. Now you're still wounded on 6s. So
yeah, that'd be a thing.
That might be kind of fun. Greedy Guts. No, I can't screw up that name. Crush
He's
1.
interesting.
Dread is one of my favorite fucking rules in the game. I love Dread. Life Leech 3, which will keep this son of a bitch alive. Mighty Wild Charge D3. 8 attacks, dash 16. What kind of weird... here's Chef Boyardee right here. Here's the guy that's trying to rip out your insides and make you lunch at the exact same time, or make you for lunch, one or the other. I definitely give this guy a run out, mostly just because of the nerve being dash 16 and that life leech 3. That'll keep you going. Too bad he doesn't have relentless though.
Nope, but he does have ravenous, so he can be buffed by that.
He could be buffed by that. Let's go on to the Wild Sorcery. That's the formation itself. I wonder, does this actually come in a box set? Like, do we know this
now? Yeah, I think this is the new box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I actually don't mind this. I mean, we were talking about the fact that we were going on about how this is a cavalry type of army. Well, this isn't a bad way to start. I mean, what is this here? A regiment of spear spikes. Can't really see what their difference is. We've also got. They come with gastromancy. Well, hell, why the fuck not? We got a troop of wild runners who gain good cooking, which I'm
Two
not.
Troops.
Two troops.
Two troops. Yeah.
There you go.
And good cooking is at the start of this. It is well within 6 inches of a friendly core unit with gastromancy. So that would be the regiment or the sorcerer.
Yep.
The unit is considered fearless and gains the elite range special rule.
Damn. That's
so
actually
a good buff.
Yeah.
But you got to stay close to your spear spikes, which are speed 5.
Or be somewhere close to your saucier.
Or you have a sorcerer riding with these guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
you
I
need a
actually,
mounted sorcerer to stay close. So.
Yeah.
so what
It's
do
an
we think?
interesting formation.
It is. I would give this a try. This is one of the armies I will at some point hopefully put on the table. I kind of like the idea of them. Now, because this is the newest army in the game, this is something that not a lot of people have played. I mean, I'm lucky that the pair of you have given it a run out, and I've been lucky to play against you, Nathaniel, a few times, um, and I've played a couple other people. But I think this army could take you by surprise. Like this is the one army that, with all of the auras and buffs and everything else, if you know this army, I think this is one of the ones that you could surprise a few people with. Do we? What do you think there? I mean, Nathaniel, you being the one that's run this, was there something specific about the army that drew you to it, other than the models, or was this just something you wanted to give a try out? And what have you found roughly?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to play it mostly just because it's halflings, hobbits, and so I had to try that, and because it's one of those throwbacks from even back in the Warhammer days where they were just in the Empire army, but they never had their own army, and so finally we got a halfling army all of its own. I love the modeling potential, and then I've just been playing around with the different kind of builds to see what works. Right, I tried heavy roadblock infantry that didn't really work. I've been playing the cavalry list a lot more lately, which I think works way better. Cavalry against
Yeah.
Iron Beasts. Yeah, you really, because it's one of the lesser played ones. You have the option to surprise people, especially when you're like, oh yeah, these guys always hit on fours, and they do D3 for every time they hit you. That has certainly caught some people out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it
they're steady.
does.
9 attacks. You go anywhere from, I only did 3 wounds or 4 wounds. Oh, I did 15 wounds.
Yes. Yes. They are silly.
That's where I think the grenadiers are great, because like you were saying earlier, they don't hit really for anything. They're just there for that brutal D3. So they're your backup piece if you need them to help on a cavalry charge or to go in with the balloons, because the balloons are doing all the damage, and then you've got those extra points from the brutal if you really want to kill something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to really watch your auras a lot. Like I said, with the cavalry, you can get a whole bunch of cavalry into both the Strider aura and the Sorcerer auras. So you get one good charge out. I've then found as they then move around that you'll get a few out of range. So you really have to think about where you need those auras. They're a lot of fun, but the low nerve really starts hurting as
The
the game
nerve is awful.
runs on.
Yeah. The nerve is awful. So I ran an practically all cav variant where it was all juggers and then a couple other like chaff cavalry pieces, 1 Iron Beast as a ringer list for the Halloween tournament. And I had 3 draws because you would kill stuff and then your stuff just dies. Like the cavalry is only 13-15. The heavy cavalry is a 13-15 nerve. That is not good. They just die. So stuff dies really fast, but it is a very fun list, and you do have to be very careful with your placings, or like Nathaniel was talking about, stuff gets out of auras, and then it's out of range, and then it's not as impactful, or it doesn't live, and then you're tabled.
So what about a shooting list for this? Like obviously in Clash of Kings UK, there was a halfling player that actually won with a mostly shooting list. So I mean, it's possible to do that. I mean, that was a close to 200 person tournament. So I mean, draws must have been good. Things must have all gone the man's way. But with the trolls and with the howitzers, with the Iron Beasts and all the possible. I mean, I guess it's possible, but
I like the troll shooting the best, actually.
So do I.
So
really
the trolls with guns, I think, are the best kind of guns. The Iron Beasts are great. I like the Iron Beasts. I wish there were more attacks, but you can't have everything. So the trolls, though, I'm just scrolling back up to them.
Yeah.
So the Forest Troll Gunners are 230 points for 18 piercing 1 shots on 4s. So it starts on 4s, obviously.
Yeah, everything's pretty much 18 inches.
Yeah. Whereas you get 20 attacks for 200 points with a horde of rifles that's on 5s. So I think the trolls are just better value if you're going to do a lot of shooting, that you take trolls.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's kind of going to bring us to the end of this one. It's an odd army.
I do have their. I do have the commands here. If you want to talk
there we
about
go.
them.
The Halfling special commands. What are they?
The two that they get, one is Silent Feet. So for non-Titans only, they get Stealthy until the end of turn.
Hilarious.
That's
so
4
stealthy
points.
and spell warded.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Yeah.
And the other one, 4 points as well. Unit gains Thunderous Charge +1 until the end of turn.
Not as good, but definitely useful.
Oh no, that's great because then you put that on your Juggers when they go in another Thunder 3, and they can kill most things.
Oh yeah, that well, and if you're the Strider will help with all of that as well.
Oh, big time. So I did write a funny list while we were talking.
While we were talking.
Yeah, while we were talking. So 2,300 points. As is sometimes my way, there are 0 magic items. It points fit exactly, so 0 magic items. We have 3 hordes of forest trolls, 2 regiments of juggers, 3 iron beasts, one of which has the special rule to give Aura headstrong, a muster captain, obviously with the Aura strider on his dog, a sorcerer on a dog, and 2 gunnery sergeants on trolls, so you get a little bit of plank damage that you can shoot out, and their scoring units that can run through Pathfinder, and 1 muster captain on winged arrows to be a flying distraction or nonsense or flanker. So,
well, that's
if you're interested in like kind of mixed arms, you run the trolls and the iron beast as a battle line, and you got your winged arrows to distract one flank and cavalry coming up the other flank. Troll guys to like inspire and score and just be dickheads.
You're a bad man.
You could do that.
And I can, if he's wrote this just in this set, this is what John does.
It started as 6 things of trolls, but you can't get enough toys then, so I had to rein in my natural skew.
Oh yes. All right. Well, that will bring us to the end of this quick army review. Thank you to both of you for coming out and going over this newish army with me. We'll be having more of these come out, but for now, thank you, and we'll see you again on Nerf Check. See you later, guys.
Good night.
Thanks.